It really is quite an upheaval in the Spanish capital at the moment, with Griezmann leaving, Godin's leaving, Felipe Luis as well. It's big changes there.
Yeah, massive. Absolutely massive. And actually, we talked about this back in the spring and suggested that this could be a summer in which, if you looked at the Atletico Madrid starting 11, you could see half of them gone by the start of next season. And I think we're on course for that. As you said, Lucas Hernandez has gone. You're going to lose. Juan Fran's already said he's going. We think Felipe Luis will be going with him. Godin has gone. Rodri will be the next one, almost certainly to Manchester City. Griezmann is going to go. As you say, all the way across the team, players going. Diego Simeone did an interview, I think in Argentina yesterday or the day before, in which he said, this is the most challenging of all the projects I've had, which is something of an understatement. And this isn't happening because he wanted it to happen. In fact, there's a slight tension between him and the club over the club's policy of that any players over 30 only get offered one-year deals. Now, that's not the solution to all of this. That's not the reason why all of these deals have happened, but it's the reason that Godin's going. It's one of the reasons why Juan Fran's going. And so you are in this situation now, or Atletico are in this situation now, where they're getting a lot of money in because buyout clauses are being paid. The buyout clause was paid for Lucas, which was, I think, 70 million euros from Bayern Munich. Rodri's buyout clause is 70 million euros, and Griezmann's, of course, on the 1st of July drops to 120 million euros. I'm not great at maths, but I think that makes 260 million euros. There's a lot of money to be spent, but you've got to totally rebuild. And we've seen before, and to take it onto the current kind of approach, we've seen before that when it comes to attacking players, when it comes to creative players, not just strikers, but creative players, the guys who play on the wing or the guys who flit in behind the striker or the guys who play that kind of creative role, I think you can look over the Diego Simeone period, and I think you can look at a total of, I think it's 10, maybe 12 players who you can fit in as either wingers, attacking wingers, or strikers. And I think you would say that the only one who was an unqualified success is Antoine Griezmann. And so it's not just that you're buying new players and having to build a new team, it's that you're buying precisely the type of player, and I say this admittedly as someone who doesn't watch a huge amount of Portuguese football, someone who doesn't claim to know very much about him, but you're buying the type of player that so far at least Simeone hasn't quite been able to get the best out of. I think there's a chance that this is going to be a really, really difficult season for Atletico Madrid.
Now, Craig mentioned financial fair play. Real Madrid, of course, bringing a lot of players already this summer. How they would love to get rid of Gareth Bale. Jonathan Barnett, though, Gareth Bale's agents having none of it. Speaking about the possibility of a loan move, well, it's not going to happen. I think it would take something exceptional for him to leave, and loans are not on the menu. He could fit in at Manchester United. I think he could do very well. He's still one of the best players in the world, but it is very unlikely. This Gareth Bale saga is quite incredible, really, isn't it, Sid? But according to his agent, flirting maybe slightly there with Manchester United, and it's interesting that he chose that club in particular to mention within that quote. It looks like Bale's going to stay.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of brings two things together, and it brings together what Craig was saying and the Gareth Bale situation. And Craig was saying, how on earth are these clubs doing this? Well, because in part, they are counting, both Barcelona and Real Madrid, they are counting on recuperating a huge amount of money. And what is it today? Is it the 19th of June? There's a very, very long way to go to be able to do this. But of course, as soon as you're in a position in which everyone knows you want to sell, the recuperation of that money becomes more difficult. And in the case of Bale, it's very difficult for Real Madrid because Bale's agent's saying repeatedly, he doesn't want to go anywhere. He's happy where he is. And you're right, the change here is that slight opening of the door to Manchester United. For what it's worth, he's asked directly about United endlessly. And so in a way, it's like, right, well, let's keep this idea there. But of course, their narrative, their kind of stock response is, we're not going anywhere. Now, there's a bit of me that thinks I could do a tape recording of this, and I could put this on every time I come to the show. Bale's not going anywhere. Bale doesn't want to move. Bale wants to be at Real Madrid. Bale thinks it's Real Madrid's problem to resolve. The question mark is, on which day of this summer does that tape recording have to be turned off and something else done? Because there's no doubt that this is a long game. And there's no doubt that this is about trying to condition the market rather than definitively saying no to the market. And what's interesting is that this is the first time, I think you're absolutely right, this is the first time that there's been even the slightest hint that, well, actually, there are some places that Gareth might be semi-happy to go to.